So England get the job done over Australia to add to Cheika's kind of year of misery. The pressure, you would have to think, is kind of well off Eddie Jones at this point. Their turnaround for the year after a pretty terrible Six Nations seems to be complete, and they're back in the running as one of the top teams by the looks of things. 37 points to 18, 4 tries to 2. It could have been worse. I mean, Falau got a try pretty much bang on full time to make it look a bit closer. But yeah, it was a pretty good performance from the English. And as I said, the pain goes on for the Wallabies. It's not been a good year. A controversy in this one as well, as seems to be the standard practice with all the games for England this season. But touch on that a bit later. England scored early through May after the Wallabies were charged down. Dane Haylett-Petty's name's going to come up a fair bit. It was his kick that was charged down. But Tamua got a penalty, 7-3. Farrell hit the post, but then he made up for it with another penalty. Daly missed a penalty. The Aussies had a try chalked off by the TMO for a forward pass. And, you know, fair enough, it was forward. It was Dane Haylett-Petty try. So that guy didn't have any luck this night, really. Farrell kicked another penalty, but then just before halftime, Falau had kind of a wonder try to bring the Aussies right back into it. He ran a great little jinking line. It's what he does, Falau. As I said in previous videos, he's not that quick, but he's agile and he just runs fantastic lines. So he cut straight through the English defence and made it 13-10. And then, kind of right before half-time, the Aussies were still on attack, and Rodder was running through pretty close to the goal line. Perhaps that white line was calling him, and he was stopped in his tracks by Owen Farrell with what is becoming a pretty familiar tackle technique. Lead with the shoulder, and then the arm kind of flops round. How it wasn't kind of a yellow card penalty try is a little bit beyond me. Even Stuart Barnes, who's the commentator I had on, seemed kind of perplexed. I heard on the audio when the conversation between Hooper and the ref that he said, "I thought your guy dropped his shoulder as well." It's kind of news to me that there's so much onus on the ball carrier to take care of the tackler. I'm sure someone can explain that to me in the comments. But yeah, he hit him. I mean, I don't mind Farrell. I know a lot of people don't like him. I mean, he's a really talented player, and I like watching talented players play, and he's physical, which is cool. But damn, he needs to fix that tackling technique, because if he's in a World Cup quarterfinal or semi-final, does that and gets a yellow or red card, people will remember it. You know, these November games, sure, I think for the most part, South African fans may eventually forget about it. Aussie fans may forget about it, but if it's a World Cup game, it's gonna kind of go down in memory, like, you know, Sam Warburton from 2011. People still talk about that now. So yeah, nothing against the guy. He just needs to watch his technique. I know he saved the try, but he was pretty lucky to not get any more than a penalty conceded. So was the penalty even for that? I can't remember now. I've watched too much rugby today. But anyway, there was a penalty, and it ended up going in 13-all at half-time. So yeah, no punishment for him. And he made the Aussies pay for it, because straight after half-time, Daly got a try, and it was Farrell with the try assist. Took it out to 20 points to 13. Thokana Singer, thank you guys for the pronunciation tips in the preview video. I'm pretty sure I got that pronunciation down pat. If not, let me know. But yeah, he scored a fantastic try. He went through Dane Haylett-Petty to score. So as I said, rough night for that guy. He could have had another one, or at least a try assist. He had another massive break, and he decided to kind of try and run all the way to the line. Probably could have passed. I think it was Slade was running in support, but he'd busted through half the Aussie team. He probably figured one more is not going to hurt, but Hooper managed to save a try right at the end. But Farrell still ended up kicking a penalty not long after. So 30 points to 13. It was looking really comfortable. Could have been worse. Johnny May could have had a double. with like a coast-to-coast effort. That was ruled out because a kickover had just touched the sideline. So, yeah, there was no try there, although it would have been him and Folau. That one and Falau's try probably would have been the tries of the game. And I must say, Australia keep trying that move. They tried it at least twice in this game because the English defence comes up and wraps around. They tried that looping pass over the defenders to the man on the outside, but both times the execution wasn't really there. Like, it's all well and good to have that as a plan to combat that defensive line coming up, but you've got to be pretty confident that you can get that pass to stick. And one was ruled out forward, and one pretty much almost cost the Aussies a try if not for that kick hitting the whitewash. So yeah, execution poor, although the plan was fine. Yeah, Farrell got to try to rub a bit of salt in the wound towards the end. After building up quite a few phases, and Folau got one right at the death just to make the score a little bit more respectable. But yeah, it wasn't a vintage performance for the Wallabies, and it was pretty comfortable from the English. At sometimes the scrum was all over that Aussie pack. It was worrying how bad they were under the pump. Guinea got an intercept at one point, and his pass was just poor. He had a man outside him. It was a long pass, but for a guy of his quality, it should have been a pretty straightforward pass. It stuffed up. So, yeah, some of the skills just letting the Wallabies down, which is surprising because I wouldn't have thought lack of skilled players is the problem with the Wallabies at the minute. But some of the execution, like I say, was just not there. Singer had 7 defenders beaten. Had a pretty huge performance for England, so that's encouraging. Underhill and Shields both had 12 tackles, so they put in good shifts, although Kepu had 13, and that's a pretty solid shift for a prop. If the scrummaging side was a bit better, I'd be more enthusiastic about that. Full-time stats, I mean, run meters, England 425, Australia 399. There's not that much in that. Possession and territory. The possession favours England 53-47, so pretty close. Territory a bit more, 58-42. So, again, leaning towards England's way, but nothing so domineering. But then you look at tackles, 85% to 77. The Aussies have got a pretty bad habit recently of dropping below 80, which is kind of what you would say is, a minimum standard. Once you get to 85, you're looking solid. 90 is getting towards excellent. So, yeah, 77. It's getting a bit costly. Penalties conceded as well, 10 to the English 6. Sinclair got man of the match. His skills for a prop are really top level, and he's a pretty dynamic ball carrier as well. Plus that work in the scrum, that's his primary job, and he was doing that pretty well. So yeah, as I say, another long night for the Aussies. It's been a pretty long season. They'll be pretty happy to get this one behind them. Get into 2019, get a bit of Super Rugby under their belt. The Aussie teams, surprisingly, actually looked a lot better in Super Rugby this year, but the Wallabies team has just been back down a level. Previously, we've had, the Super Rugby teams getting hammered, the Aussie teams, and then the Wallabies at least are able to kind of, if not always win, be competitive. But yeah, this year's been poor. So as I said, the pressure goes on Checker. Eddie wins this battle, and yeah, I guess we'll see what 2019 holds. The Aussies have got a habit of peaking for World Cup time. If they are going to do it, they're certainly flying under the radar at the moment, whereas England, you look at the Six Nations, man, Wales, England, Ireland, all look really sharp. Scotland still in that conversation. So, Italy, not so much, and France. I haven't seen that game against Fiji, but yeah, they're ones who are lacking a bit of consistency as well. So, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on this game. Certainly higher point scoring than a lot of us predicted, but yeah, there were some standout performances as well. You guys let me know your thoughts on it. I should say Michael Hooper was fairly classy at the end when the reporter asked him like 3 times what he thought of the Farrell tackle, and he managed to avoid it. So, yeah, if nothing else, the dude speaks well, and it's not... He could have had a go at her, but he didn't. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.